banish my delusions. Sri Yogananda, guide to inner freedom, steal into my heart of hearts, banish my delusions. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Will thou come, just for once come to me. Will thou come, just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day. Night and day, I look for thee, night and day. Door of my heart. We start with a prayer. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, friend, beloved God, Babaji Krishna, Jesus Christ, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar, my beloved Gurudev Paramhansa Yogananda, beloved friend and guide Swami Kriyananda, saints and sages of all religions, I humbly bow to you all. Thank you for raising the vibrations of this Gita class. Thank you for connecting us all to God. Om Shanti Shanti. So, wherever we are, Anurupa? Anurupa is very precise.
Yeah, she is.
We will start the last paragraph during the process.
Oh, during this process. Okay. So let me just go back a little bit. What this entire Gita is actually to do or not to do, rather than to be or not to be. It's all a question of whether I will take an action, and if I take an action, what is the right action? So this is what the entire thing is all about, where Arjuna has kind of collapsed on the eve of battle, and Krishna is trying to explain to him why he should take action and what is the nature of right action. Okay. So last time we were talking about how a yogi kind of withdraws from this world of Maya, withdraws all his senses. Like Krishna is driving the chariot, he is controlling 5 horses. So Krishna is actually a symbol of the control of our 5 senses. It is only when we are able to control our 5 senses that we stop getting entrapped in Maya, right? So with now Krishna is explaining that the surefire way to withdraw from this world of illusion, and we know why it is an illusion. I've explained before. If someone still doesn't know, they may ask. Okay, so we start withdrawing our involvement from the outer world to become in this world but not of it. So while we do everything that we are required to do to dissolve our past karmas, we are here to release our karmas and move towards our God self. But while we do that, if we are on a spiritual path, we start to understand the entire game, as it were, and we know why we are here, and therefore we don't get involved. We do everything. I wouldn't use the word involved. We are involved 100%, but we are not entangled. So how do we do that? We do that by the methods which is taught in Kriya Yoga, which is the meditative science that we practice. And from the physical body, we withdraw to the astral body. From the astral body, we withdraw to the causal body. And finally, we exit and gain God realization. Okay. So how do we withdraw from the outer world? We have this Kriya Yoga technique, which will bring in, we shut the five senses, which bring in the energy, which is scattered all over. We keep, half our consciousness is stuck in past lives, some in this life, some in another person. We are completely scattered. The truly enlightened human being is a person who is completely integrated. All his or her energies are actually in the spine. So this is not the physical spine. This is the astral spine. So what does that mean? The astral spine is in the energy body, right? Physical body we control through diet, good, keeping our bodies clean, keeping our bodies exercised, keeping the energies moving in the physical nervous system, right? And once that is clean, through yogic practices, through asanas and all those things that we do, we now are through the Kriya technique. What are we doing? We are bringing in the breath, bringing in all our scattered energies into the astral spine, which is the spine in the energy body. And the spine in the energy body, there are two nadis or nerve channels, as I've explained before, the Ida and the Pingala. I don't know if the drawing is right. It's a bit messed up, but you get the picture. Okay, so we are trying to bring in all our energies into the Shushumna. This is the Shushumna Nadi, the main energy channel in the astral body. And our energies are coming in through these feeder channels, which is the Ida and the Pingala, into the Shushumna. Now, the story does not end with the astral spine. It has to go into the causal spine. Okay. Causal spine is the thought body. From the emotional body, which is the astral spine, it is now going into the thought body. So from the Shushumna, with great concentration and regular practice, we are now, say this is the astral spine, this is the Shushumna. We are now entering into the Vajra Nadi, which is here, which is in the causal body. Now we are entering even rarefied energy spaces. This is the Vajra Nadi. Inside the Vajra Nadi is the Shushumna Nadi, or is the Chitra Nadi. And within the Chitra Nadi is the Brahma Nadi. This is the main one through which once we have gone in this deep into the causal body, into the Brahma Nadi, only then can we connect to source. And yogis move out from here. through the Brahma Nadi in the causal body. So that's what we were talking about in the last class. Okay, so from the physical body, we are bringing in we are cleaning our physical nervous system through yogic postures. From the physical nervous system, we are moving into the astral body. From the astral body, we are moving into the causal body. And once we are connected to the causal body, then we are connecting to our true self, which is the God self. Yeah, tell me.
The Vajra is in the astral body.
It's in the causal body.
Then where is Chitra?
Chitra, see, just like Ida and Pingala and Shushumna, that's in the astral body. The Vajra is one nadi, inside it is Chitra, and inside that is the Brahma nadi.
Both are in the causal.
Causal. Vajra, Chitra, Brahma nadi are the causal body. And Shushumna, Ida and Pingala are the astral body. So we are going deeper and deeper into our soul self. Yeah.
Brahmanadi, Chitra, Vajra.
Correct. Chitra Vajra don't go around. This is, say, if you see it as a column, I don't know even how to explain it. Vajra, inside it is Chitra, and even deeper is Brahman.
Brahma.
Okay. So this is the way we reach our soul selves and connect to who we really are, which is God. So that was what we covered in the last class. Okay, now if we move forward, during this process, the yogi beholds wondrous astral phenomena. This stanza of the Gita is a warning not to be attached to such visions either, lest they divert him from his goal of complete union. So, yes, of course, when we start to meditate, we have brilliant visions, we have all manner of experiences. We can do astral travel, we can do telepathy, we see the future. So all kinds of powers are a side effect which come to us. Many yogis there are who have got detracted by the wonder of these powers, and they have lost the sight of God. That the main reason why I'm doing all this is actually to connect to God. So they get diverted, and again they start using these powers possibly to become successful in the world, to become well known in the world. And so again they are getting enmeshed in Maya. So the point is not to be attached to any of these, to see these as a natural side effect of the practices that one does, and to keep one's focus firmly on God, that this is what I have come to do. I want self-realization. I want to know who I really am. So I will not get distracted. The opening of the Brahma Nadi is at the top of the head. On reaching this point, the yogi becomes reunited with omnipresence, for the last sheath has been removed that closes him off from infinity. So this is the last sheath, the physical, the astral and causal, and now you've removed that also, and so you can merge with the infinite. One is,
Sorry,
yeah.
can I ask a question? So
Yes,
how do we
yes.
distinguish between these nadis? How do we know where we are when we are meditating? Is there a
Don't
way?
even bother. The day you are connected, you will know. If you are asking,
If there are 6 layers,
right.
like
So
literally,
it is, so let us not go too much in the head. These are meant to explain that you must really go deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, if you really delved into the yogic sciences, you would know exactly where you are on your evolutionary path. But for that, you have to study or experiment for years and years and know what are the phenomena that will accompany when you are in the astral spine. What is the phenomena that you will encounter when you're in the causal spine. From very general knowledge, I would say in the astral spine, you will get powers, visionary powers. You will see things. In the causal spine, your thought is so powerful that the moment you think something, it will immediately manifest. Or you can telepathy. See the Treta Yuga, if you go back to the Yuga cycle, the Treta Yuga is the causal universe. When you've got Dwapar, in which we are now, is the astral, the energy. After 24,000 years is when the Yuga cycle moves to the Treta Yuga. There, the main quality of it, shall we say, is telepathy. So you don't have to travel here, there, and everywhere. You pass a message and, it's like being there. So those kind of energies, you will automatically, if you are a very, very serious yogi, you will also be told in meditation. You start downloading these kind of information also. That will come, you will receive clear guidance, what is to be done. Apart from studying it with a guru or something who is deep into yogic practice, who can guide you, and sometimes they don't guide you, because then, what happens if we are too much in the head, then we start intellectualizing it. These are not intellectual things, these are intuitive things. So there is a knowing that you will have. Our brain is incapable of understanding these things, not possible. You have to actually go beyond the brain into your intuitive self to be able to understand that. So one who is tossed, let us say, in a rowboat on ocean waves cannot see the broad surface of that vast body of water. So this is a comparison of us when we are very enmeshed in life. It's like we are in a rowboat, we are going up and down, up and down. We cannot see the woods for the trees. We are climbing every tree. We don't get the big picture, or we are getting tossed by every wave. Our emotional reactions to everything, every day is an up and down. So we are so caught up in trying to maintain our balance in that we completely will miss the big picture, right? So most people are like this, like, on the ocean waves cannot see the broad surface of that vast body of water. I'm too caught up in little waves and going up and down. When he rises above it, however, whether by standing on a cliff or by flying high in the air, he sees a vast panorama of waves. His attention is not necessarily drawn then to any one wave or small grouping of waves. So when we start to see the big picture, what are we doing with Kriya Yoga? We are shifting our perspective from the ego self, we are going into the rational self. We are starting to bring the energy here. We are using more and more of our brain power, and therefore we are developing our intuition. Once we develop our intuition, we can see the whole sea. It's as if we've risen up and we are seeing the vastness of the sea. So we are not now caught up in little waves and cluster of waves. If you see a vast body of water, even if there is some kind of tidal wave happening at one corner, the rest of the sea is calm. So you will see only the big picture, right? And so the yogi similarly can behold the whole ocean impartially. So he's not getting caught up. in little things. So he's impartial, he's impersonal, he's moving towards what is personal. Personal is the ego, impersonal is source. He's moving towards source. So he can see the whole ocean impartially. Or again, he can withdraw into the ocean depths and having no single specific point from which to gaze, but being rather one with all spirit, finds that in the very act of seeing, he both is that act and that which is beheld. So whether you choose to gain wisdom connected to source, or you understand that source is present in all of creation, and you can connect to that source, like you can either go up and see the ocean, or you can dive deep and be part of the ocean, be part of everything that is in the world, and that is also source. So when you are able to merge like that with source, what does he find? That the very act, finds that in the very act of seeing, he both is that act and that which is beheld. So I am the seer, I am what is being seen, and I am the process of seeing. I'm everything. The subject object differentiation collapses. That I am separate, I'm the subject, the object is there, and I'm acting on it. I am both, and I'm also the process of acting. Okay. So the knowing, the knower, and the known become one. So what is the knowing? Say knowing is consciousness. What is the knower? The one who is conscious, which is me. And what is the known? What I am conscious of. So all three become one. And it is very, very possible to have that kind of experience when you are deeply meditating. Suddenly something will flip and this truth becomes absolutely apparent. It becomes so clear that you wonder why I didn't see it earlier. It actually happens. You realize, oh my God, I have been putting all these people in my life. I have been putting these situations. I am that situation, and I am also the being that has put everything in motion. So that oneness is what the yogi is striving for. Now in Sabikalpa Samadhi, you may have that experience, and you may be, if you remain at a high level of consciousness, you may be able to retain that consciousness maybe for 5 minutes, maybe for a week, maybe for 3 months also. But you kind of come down because you're not evolved as yet that much. But in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you are always in that consciousness of oneness, that there is nobody here except me. I have created all this, okay? So masters, avatars who come, they are constantly in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. They are in permanent union with source. People like us who are meditating and, still trying to understand these things and evolving, it is entirely possible to experience Sabikalpa Samadhi, where for 1 second everything becomes crystal clear. But it's very difficult to maintain that high energy. Okay. Meanwhile, remember something mentioned earlier in this book. If you go to visit a castle and pass through beautiful grounds, you can take the time to view the grounds and wonder at all the plants, at the stream running through the property, and at the unusual trees and beautiful flowers. But that process may take you so long that you'll have to wait till another incarnation before you remember that you wanted to visit the castle. Far wiser it is to get to know the Lord of the castle first. He will show you around. Sharing its beauties with him will be far more enjoyable for you, and you will fully understand everything instead of merely marveling. So, what is this wonderful castle and this palace grounds? The castle is the abode of God, and the grounds are Maya actually. And so Swamiji is saying that, if you haven't contacted the owner of the castle first, you may wander in the grounds, you may marvel at so many unusual plants and trees and streams, and just get caught up in that and forget that the reason why you came here was to visit the castle. So the sensible thing is to connect to God first, and then with his help to try and navigate Maya. Otherwise, you may get caught for lifetimes just, getting muddled up in the beautiful garden. So it's better to contact the Lord of the castle first. So I think there is a quotation, Jesus said that uh, something like, this is not the right thing, but this is what it means. Basically, uh, connect ye to the kingdom of God first, and all this shall be given to you. The exact words, I don't remember the biblical thing, but this is what Jesus said. First, connect to God, and everything that you ever wanted in the world will automatically be given to you, and your life will not be a struggle. So your first duty is to connect there. Okay. So that's what it is saying. So the Lord of the castle will show you around. Sharing its beauties with him will be far more enjoyable for you. So why? Because then you don't get into all those ego traps and all those things. You just enjoy the beauty. You play in the world. Everything is effortless when you first connect to source. Okay, and you will fully understand everything instead of merely marveling and getting caught and puzzled and all those things. You will just be able to be full of gratitude to be here in this world, because you understand why it's here and why you are here and what you are doing here. Okay. Powers, visions, and other phenomena can inspire, but if one allows himself to desire them or to become attached to them, they can distract him from the path to supreme truth. As I said, so there will be many strange experiences, there will be wonderful things, you will feel very, very powerful, but if you forget, your goal, then there is a chance of creating more karma and spiraling backwards. A disciple of the master, which is Yogananda, was experiencing his first Kundalini awakening and was enjoying the feeling of it rising joyfully in the spine. Pleased with this phenomena, he told master about it. The guru, to prevent any foolishly premature satisfaction on the disciple's part, replied by exclaiming, "That's nothing." So masters like Yogananda, they can bring you down to earth very fast. If you feel that, oh my God, I had this experience and, I am kind of evolved. So the guru told him that that's nothing. So keep practicing, be serious, and keep going deeper and deeper. Yes, you have reached somewhere. No need to stop here and start celebrating. Keep moving. Okay. From the above passages, it must be understood that action and non-action convey meanings far deeper to the yogi than anyone can imagine who is spiritually asleep. So what is action to the yogi? Action to the yogi is anything that will move me towards God. And what is inaction to the yogi? Inaction to the yogi is nothing short of nirvikalpa samadhi. It is only when you are in nirvikalpa samadhi that you can say that I will not act, because then you are source. But while you are on this plane, this 3D plane, you are bound to act. That you cannot not act, because even the process of breathing is an activity. Everything is an activity. So we are bound to take action because the action gives a consequence. And that consequence is what we learn from. We take action, there is a consequence, we understand whether it served us or not. And so we start to, if we are aware, if we are conscious human beings, we will see, oh my God, I took that action 2 years ago. Now this consequence, not okay. My energies are going down. I'm not feeling okay. So we have to notice that. And from that consequence, we have to learn that the next time I make a choice, I make a very, very conscious choice. I will make a choice that will move me towards my greater evolution. And so my actions, instead of becoming karmic actions, will start to become dharmic actions. What is dharmic actions? Those are basically good karma. So I take the right action, my life here is good. But a yogi who is in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, they want to get out of karma and dharma. They just want to become the still source again. They don't want good consequences or bad consequences, because that still keeps me trapped in Maya. The yogi is just wanting to move into complete union or yoga. So non-action is only possible when you are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Otherwise, you are bound to act. So action and non-action convey meanings far deeper to the yogi than anyone can imagine who is spiritually asleep. All those meanings were intended by Lord Krishna in these passages of his great discourse, the Bhagavad Gita. A few disciples were lamenting that it takes so long to find God. To them, the Guru said, you have to live anyway. Why not live in the right way? So Master is telling them, well, you have to take action, you have to have consequences. So start becoming a little conscious of your actions, and at least, live in the right way and have a good life, so that your evolution progresses without impediment. Don't keep going into potholes or hitting a dead end and then spiraling down and then again doing this. So if you live consciously, the definition of spirituality is what? Living consciously, becoming very self-aware of every thought, every action, and what it is likely to bring to me in karmic terms. So Master said that you have to live anyway. So why not live in the right way? In truth, it takes no time at all to find God, since time itself is a delusion, right? So in the 3D world where we are, okay, time, we are bound by 4 quadrants. We are bound by cause, effect, time, and space. When we can move, and time is linear, there is past, present, future. But when we are connected to source, we are no longer in 3D. We are possibly in 5D, 6D, 7D, whatever dimension we are. And we are connected to source, where everything is in the now. Everything is happening. Whatever has happened, whatever needs to happen, everything is present as potential in the universe. Everything has already happened, right? And there is no such thing as time and space. It is here, it is now. So what does it mean, being in the now? Being absolutely connected to source. Actually not part of the 3D world at all. to be in such a position of power that all the time is now. So I remember there is everyone knows who Pooh Bear is, coming down from the heights to Pooh Bear and Piglets. They are very, very wise. So this is A. Milne's book for children. And there is a little boy called Christopher Robin, and the story is all about his soft toys. Okay. So he has a main soft toy, which is Pooh Bear, who is a bear of very little brain. Okay, it's a teddy bear. And there is his friend, which is Piglet, who is a very nervous kind of a character. So Pooh Bear and Piglet are walking in the 100-acre wood, and Piglet asks a lot of questions. So Piglet is asking Pooh, what is the time now, Pooh? Pooh says, why, the time is now. Piglet asks, what's the time, Pooh? Because he's beginning to feel hungry or something. And Pooh's answer, Pooh is very comfortable, a bear of very little brain, but obviously connected to source beyond the brain. So Piglet is asking, what's the time, Pooh? So Pooh says, the time is now. After a while, okay, so Piglet is pondering and they're walking. Then after a while, Piglet is asking, what's the day, Pooh? What day of the week? Pooh says, why, it's today. So after that, no conversation could progress. So I understand now where that comes from. So these children's books, even if you read Alice in Wonderland, it is only quantum physics. One should do a reading of Alice in Wonderland from that point of view. These come as children's books, but very, very wise. So being in the now. So in truth, it takes no time at all to find God, since time itself is a delusion. In this 3D world, we see past, present, future. Source does not see it like that. And if we become yogis and we are, through meditation, we have developed our discrimination, we will also know that we are not this body. We have had so many past lives. So we start to look at existence as a whole. We don't get caught with this form and this name. So, and when we start to look at life from that kind of perspective, life becomes very different. Then we can truly be in the world, but not of it. Because and so you don't take everything too seriously and get caught in stuff. You start to see the meaning behind everything that happens to you, every person that comes into your life, and you say, okay, this was the lesson I needed to learn. Learn and move. That is how a yogi will look at life and deal with life. Okay. In fact, moreover, it takes less time in this delusive world than people devote at the beginning of their soul's journey to forgetting him. So Swamiji is saying that people spend more time in forgetting God rather than connecting to him. It takes less time to connect to God than to forget him. How do we forget God? By creating massive karmas, karmic actions, spinning backwards, moving away from our truth, becoming inauthentic, suffering, getting enmeshed, all those things. So that takes a longer time than if you would one fine day decide that I'm going to drop all that and I will connect to God. In fact, it is actually a moment's connection. Like I was saying, that if you go very deep in meditation, suddenly the brain or whatever it is, God knows, suddenly your consciousness flips and you realize, oh my God, there is nothing and nobody in this world except me. And everything is connected and everything is a part of, if I can call myself me, whatever it is. So that connection actually takes not even a moment. And we take years and years of bad karma to start moving away from source. Okay. So connecting to God is actually not a step-by-step linear process. It suddenly happens, just like meditation. I was explaining in the meditation class that progress in meditation does not take place step by step. You will meditate, you will practice, then for 2 years, nothing. It's fallow. 6 years, fallow. But actually, there is a lot of work happening in the background. And suddenly, after 6 years, in one moment, you have got such a awakening or a revelation, but it has come because you have practiced. Nothing is happening, meditation is not happening well, I'm still sitting every day, I put in my 1.5 hours diligently, and sometimes my faith wavers, why am I doing this? I could do something else in that time, nothing is happening, maybe I can't meditate, all kinds of nonsense. But if we can keep at it, then suddenly that's how, growth, spiritual growth takes place in these leaps and bounds. It is not a linear process at all. So we have to understand that and keep going. For next stanza is, for purification of the ego, yogis merely work with the body, mind, discrimination, and sense organs. They are never attached to them. So the yogi knows that in this lifetime, this is the current body. I have had many, many bodies before this. So I am not attached to this body. I am not attached to this brain. I'm not attached to whatever is happening here. I am in command and I am using the tools I have in this lifetime to progress further without necessarily saying that this is me. So a saint will never say, I am sick. A saint says, the body is unwell. That's how they speak. They do not identify with the body. The body is not me, right? Because they realize that this is just an instrument which I am using for this lifetime to progress spiritually. Yogis merely use the body. It never uses them. In other words, they never let any aspect of outward awareness exert the slightest compulsion on their will. So this is what is known as conscious living. At every moment, anything that comes at you, you do not react. You are perfectly in control. You respond knowing that whatever it is that is coming at me looks perfectly horrifying, but it is there for a reason. It is something I have manifested to teach me a lesson to move further towards God. So a yogi has complete spiritual mastery and personal mastery. So they are in command and control. They don't allow the body's weaknesses to take them over. They don't allow outside circumstances to, divert them from the path or create a mess for them, right? So there is an example here Swamiji is giving, in the way a carpenter, when using a hammer to drive nails into a board, may say, I am hammering the nail, when in fact he is only using the hammer and knows very well that he himself is not the hammer. So say, I am hammering the nail, but actually what's happening? The hammer is hammering the nail, right? So the carpenter is not the hammer. So even so, people use their bodies to work, their minds to observe consciously, their intellects to discriminate, and their sense organs to perceive objective reality. Identified with the body, they think, I am doing whatever my body does. Identified with the mind, they think my awareness of what happens is defining the event itself. Identified with the intellect, they think, I am thinking this thing through to its logical conclusion. Finally, identified with the sense organs, they think, I see, I hear, I taste, I smell, I touch. By these means, I define all that I experience in the world around me. So people who are completely identified with the body in this world, they feel that I am doing everything. I am sensing everything. I am thinking. Actually, the brain is thinking. The I is the witness consciousness. The yogi is always aware of that. He is standing back and watching his body do things. He is watching his mind thinking. He is watching his emotions dealing with stuff. He is not involved. At some level, he is separate from what this body is going through, from what this persona, this ego in this lifetime is going through, because he knows that he is not this ego. He has had many, many lifetimes. The yogi, by contrast, separates his self-awareness from what the body is doing, from what the mind observes, from what the intellect thinks, and from what the senses tell him in any situation to be the case. He knows that he himself is none of these any more than the carpenter is his hammer or the nails he is driving into a board. So the yogi knows that I am the consciousness that is observing and that is creating this reality. I am not this body. And that is how the yogi can remain detached. And that is the true meaning of be in this world, but not of it. At every point, you are aware that you are the soul. You are not the ego or the body. The distinction here is that for the yogi, as opposed to the ordinary man, there is no thought of personal agency in anything he does. What does personal agency? Personal agency means I am doing, I am thinking. There's a personal investment. They will say the mind is thinking this, the body is doing this. Okay. So for the yogi, there is no sense of personal agency in anything he does. The yogi sees the body not as his body, but only as something he uses. He understands that his mind is not his own. It too is something he works through. He perceives the intellect as separate from his true inner perception, which is the intuition. Okay, true inner perception is the intuition. The intellect can never understand that. So, and he cognizes the senses as cooperating with him, but independently from him. So this is the true witness consciousness. The yogi is always slightly away and not really entangled, shall we say. And because such a person does not take things personally, what happens? There is complete fearlessness, right? He's not invested in that sense. So the yogi can connect to the truth. So there is no fear. And what is the biggest quality of the ego? Fear. Fear and separateness. That is where all our insecurities come from, all our drama comes from, that I need this person and I need this thing. Otherwise, how will I survive? That is ego thinking. So because the yogi stays apart from it, the yogi has no fear, because the yogi knows that I am source. And at every moment, I am connected to source. Right? As the carpenter uses his hammer to drive nails into a board, so the yogi uses his very ego. He knows it is not his self, except in the sense that he, the infinite self with a capital S, must keep that little unit or unit of reality going. So I am this vast source. I keep this unit moving for these reasons. Okay. The body enacts his wishes as though it were a hammer. He himself, in his expanded reality, is not that body. He uses it impersonally as an implement to accomplish certain ends. He observes through his mind, but separates himself from the thought, I am observing. When discriminating, he thinks only, this is the intellect which is discriminating. It is not I who draw these conclusions. He perceives through the senses, but never tells himself, I am perceiving, but rather is aware that this perception is occurring. He removes from all that he sees and does any sense of personal identification. Okay. So any questions? There are about 3 to 5 minutes left. I won't go further. Anybody has any questions? Zero. Yeah, Richa has a question. Yeah, say.
So when you the astral body, and then you have the causal body, and then so how do you that's how you progress in meditation, and then you experiences through causal body and from one idea.
Right. What is the question?
The question is that progression?
Yes.
Like from
That is the
astral
progression.
experience, you go to causal experience.
Yes, yes, yes.
So share some what kind.
That's what I'm saying. I just told her it could be. I'm just saying that you will intuitively know what Richa's question is. So in meditation, you progress from the astral to the causal. And same thing which Priyanka asked, what are the experiences that we can expect? So I was saying that just taking from the thing of the cycle of the yugas, in the energy age, you have more visions, you can see things, right? And then once you go into the thought body, the main power of the Treta Yuga is telepathy. So that, instant communication, you don't need speech. Speech is very slow, actually. It is a logical thing. But here, if you've thought something, and you would know immediately what I have thought. Yeah, seriously, super cool. Richard is saying super cool. Okay. Anybody else? No questions? No. Okay. So it's 5 o'clock. We will end the class today with a prayer. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing power in all bodies, minds, and souls. Please rub your hands together, bring up the energy, and we can send the energy out into the world with the intention that the vibratory frequency of the world is raised. Okay. Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So see you next Sunday, everybody.